Welcome friends. In this video I am going to talk about the points which you should keep in your mind while you are going through the process of matchmaking for your own chart or for somebody else's charts. See, the reason is that these days the patience level of people have gone down and the divorces are on rise, and just on slight provocation people don't mind ending their marriages. So divorce has become a very common thing, and a lot of people have stopped having faith in astrologers due to the fact that they only give importance to the gun milan, that is the point number of points which are matching between two people, and based upon that they take a call whether they want to marry the person or not. Whereas the point match score is just one part of the matchmaking process, and there are several other factors that should be kept in mind while you are going through this process. So what are those factors? I'll be talking about them in this video, and of course I am not going to discuss the matchmaking points in this video, but of course the other important factors I'll be taking them up, and this video will not cover up all the points, but yes, it will cover up many important points which you should not ignore while you are matching your chart with somebody else's chart or two people's charts. So in my forthcoming videos I'll be also discussing about how to go through the Navamsha compatibility between two people and then decide upon taking the call for marriage. So in this video I am only going to talk about the D1 chart of two individuals, but it is also very important exercise that you should be doing before deciding upon the right partner for yourself. See, it's a very common belief that marriages are made in heaven and performed on earth, but let me tell you that it's not that so, because it's not that only a particular person is meant for you. There could be several people who could be eligible for your to become a life partner for you. So for that you should first of all check out the eligibility criteria. In my next video I'll be talking about that part, and in this video I am not going to talk about that part. But first of all, if the person is eligible to be your life partner, only then you should go ahead and do the matchmaking process, and the number of points that are matching is just a part of it, whereas there are other important factors which you should not ignore while you do the matchmaking. So what are those things? So the first part is that there are 5 very important houses in a horoscope which plays a very vital role in holding on the marriage together. So what are those five houses? The first is the second house, then is the fourth house, seventh house, eighth house, and the 12th house. So these are 5 important houses that binds a marriage together, and all these houses should be strong, they should be well placed, and they should be posited by benefics. If malefic planets are present in these 5 houses, then the person don't mind in dissolving his marriage on slightest provocation. So let's go one by one discussing each house. So the first house which is very important is the second house. See, when somebody gets married, then the second house comes into it will start. So when the second house will start, you have to see the lord of the second house, where the lord of the second house is placed. So if the second house lord is ill placed in your chart, which means either it is placed in the 6th house or 8th house or in the 12th house. So if it is ill placed, or if it is under the Pap Kartri Yoga, or if it is afflicted by a malefic planet, in that case the person will have problems in his family life. See, you can treat a house like a ship and the house lord as the driver of the ship. So if the driver of the ship is also ill placed, like it goes to the 6th house, 8th house, 12th house, in that case there is the problem in that ship. So the ship will be directionless. So because of the ship going directionless, it can hit the rock anytime. So it becomes very important for the house lord to be well placed. So see, one more thing is that if the second lord is placed in the sixth house, it is the trinal house of the second house, so which means the family is getting the right direction, but since it's your own trick house, so you will be under lot of stress due to your family matters. So this is how you should read a chart. So similarly, if the second lord is placed in the 8th house, it means it is placed in the kendra from itself, it's in the 7th house from itself, but for your own self it has gone to the trik bhava, that is your 8th house. So in that case also you will have some problems related to your second house, but the second house will keep prospering in that case. So this is how you should understand. Now the thing is that if the second house is posited by malefic planets, in that case the person will have a very troublesome family life. There are certain exceptions while we study the maleficence. First is the house where the lagna lord will go will never be under trouble. So which means if Mars being a malefic and if it is your lagna lord and it has gone to the second house, it will not destroy the family life, because lagna is your own self, and whenever you are taking charge of a house, whether you are a malefic planet or you are a benefic planet, you will never let that house get destroyed. So in case Mars is the lagna lord and it is gone to the second house, it will never destroy the second house, but there would be problems because of the native in the second house. So if Mars happens to be exalted or in Mool Trikon or in its own sign, it will do good to the house, but in other cases it will create problems to the second house where it is placed. In those cases, people under slight provocation can break up their family ties and they can seek solace outside their marriages. So one more thing is that the second house is the 8th of your 7th. See, your own 8th house is the 8th house of your chart, which means the secrets of your own self are seen through the 8th house. So any planet which is present in your 8th house means there are certain secrets which you keep to yourself. So in the same way, second house is the secret of your spouse. So it means there are some secrets which your spouse holds against you, holds from you. So it means that the person who is having a malefic or a benefic will have some third party which will be interfering in his marriage. So you should look very keenly to the second house, its lordship, and the planets which are placed there. So malefic like Saturn will create miseries in the family life, and the person will not mind breaking up his marriage due to that. And if there is a planet like Ketu, it will also act like the planet Mars. In that case also it causes a condition for dual marriage. If there is a planet like Rahu, Rahu is not that bad in the second house, and in that case it will cause some kind of dryness in the family life, and of course there will be some kind of difficulties, some kind of problems that the native will have to go through in his family because of the presence of Rahu, and Rahu is again the secret of the spouse. So you should try to avoid such charts where there are malefics present in the second house. If there is a benefic like Mercury present here, it will cause some kind of, you can say, disinterest in the intimacy part of the marriage. Similarly, Saturn or Ketu in the second house will also cause some kind of disinterest in the intimacy building part of the two partners. So this is how the planets will play their role. Now coming to the fourth house. The fourth house is the happiness of the native. It's the domestic bliss, the domestic comfort of the native. It's the relatives combined together which comes through the fourth house, and it's also the strength of character of the native. So fourth house should also be posited by benefics, but if the fourth house is posited by a malefic planet, especially Rahu, it does really bad if it is present in the fourth house. Mars is not that bad in the fourth house, but Rahu present here is to be taken very seriously, and Ketu present here will give you good results related to property matters, but otherwise Ketu will detach you from the domestic life, and the person will have some kind of major hassles in his married life. So if the fourth lord has gone to the third house or to the sixth house, then also it should not be looked with great happiness, because this is also not a good combination. It will definitely give some problems in the domestic happiness, but this person is going to be very combative also by his nature. So similarly, the third lord going to the eighth house is also not very good condition. If the third lord is going to the 12th house, then also it's not a good condition for the health of the family life. But yes, if the fourth lord has gone to these places, it does create a condition for settlement outside the country. So both the partners should be having a condition like this. Both the partners should be having some kind of affliction in the fourth house. Only then this will lead to cancellation. Otherwise you should just avoid such charts where this kind of condition is present. There's one more thing. If there is some kind of negative impact on the fourth house, but if the other partner is having a lot of good planets present in the fourth house, or good planets aspecting the fourth house, then also to a large extent this kind of negativity can be mitigated. But you should always try to find the similar kind of charts where the similar kind of placement is present, so that it gets cancelled. So now coming to the sixth house, sorry, to the seventh house. So the seventh house is the house of your marriage, and the seventh lord is your spouse. So how your spouse is going to manage your marriage depends upon the placement of the seventh lord. See, seventh lord should not be going to the trig bhava, that is the sixth house, to the eighth house, or to the 12th house. These are three particular places where the seventh lord can destroy the marriage. Okay, and the lords of these three houses should also not be present in the seventh house, because they will create some trouble or the other in the marital happiness. So one more thing is that there should not be any planet present in the seventh house. Seventh house should be absolutely clean of any planet. Reason being, if there is a planet present in the seventh house, the native will have the need to have somebody in his life, and besides his married partner, the native will go outside his marriage and create liaisons besides his partner. So it's best if there is no planet present in the seventh house, and it should be clean of any planet's placement. Now if the malefics are present in the seventh house, it is considered extremely bad, because they will first of all destroy the temperament of the spouse, and they will also destroy the temperament of the native, because from the seventh house the malefics are directly aspecting the lagna. So whatever characteristics the spouse is having, the native will also be reflecting on the same grounds. So both the partners would be of the same kind of temperament. Especially Mars is considered very very bad in the seventh house, and it can shorten the life of the marriage by being placed here. See, Mars is not considered good in the 8th house also. So if Mars is present in 7th or 8th house, or there are two malefics in the 7th and 8th house together, but there is a benefic planet present in your 9th house, in that case also you can consider this marriage, because 9th house is also considered as the Mangalya house of your marriage. So if a benefic is there, then you can go ahead with the match. Now the 7th house, if it is possessed by benefics, then it's very good combination, because benefics will give good temperament to the marriage partner, and they will bring some kind of happiness in your married life. But let me also tell you that the planet like Saturn, Mercury and Ketu are not desired in your 7th house, because these are important planets and they will cause some kind of disinterest in forming the relationship with the spouse, and because of this it can cause some kind of friction between the marriage partners. So as I told you, the 7th house should be free of any planet. So if Rahu is present here in the 7th house, it's not a good planet, because Rahu will definitely cause um, some kind of different kind of temperament the person will be having. Either this person can go in for out of caste marriage, this person can marry a foreigner, or this person can marry somebody from outcast or somebody from his cousin side, especially the maternal cousin. So people with Rahu in the 7th house will marry in an unusual way, and there would be lots of bickerings, there would be lots of naggings, there would be lots of small fights without any reason, and these people definitely form relationships outside marriage if Rahu is present here. So it gives trouble to the marriage by being present here, and it is desired that if there is a Rahu present here, the person should go in for a remedial marriage before performing his actual marriage. Even Ketu and Mars should be looked up in the same way. The person should go in for a remedial marriage before performing his ritualistic marriage. Now coming to the planet Sun. As I told you, Sun is a planet which is a malefic but sattvic in its tendencies. So Sun either in the 2nd house, in the 4th house or 7th, or maybe in the 8th or 12th house is not looked well, because see this will also play its role like the planet Mars only. It's also a separative planet, but the reaction would differ. See, as the planet Mars is the kind who will react in a very aggressive manner, but the planet Sun is not going to react in an aggressive manner. The planet Sun is sattvic, so its reaction is going to be very sattvic and pure. So people who have sufferings in these houses will try to find solace within their own self, and they will undergo some kind of soul searching, and they'll become more spiritual in their approach when things go wrong in their marriages, and they may separate from their spouses, but they will try to become more spiritual in their approach, in their outlook, and this is how they you can say suffer because of the presence of Sun in these houses. So they will not harm the other person, but they will try to put the entire you can say blame on their own selves, or they will try to undergo the suffering within their own selves. So this is how Sun will behave. Now coming to the 8th house, which plays a very vital role in looking at the longevity of marriage, because if you have good number of score matching, but at the same time the 8th house is not powerful, in that case the length of the marriage is shortened, and the person can either separate due to legal binding or due to the nature's call. So there should not be any malefic planet present in your 8th house like Mars or Ketu. They are not desired at all in the 8th house, because they will shorten the life of marriage. And the 8th house should not be having any kind of connection with the 7th house. This is also very very important, because 7th and 8th house connection is very bad for the health of the spouse, for the native's own health, and this can shorten the life of marriage. So the placement of the 8th lord should be looked up at very very carefully. So the 8th lord should either be placed in the 3rd house, or it should be in the 8th house, or it can also be present in the lagna, but it should be strong in the lagna only then. Otherwise it can give a problem to the native who is having this chart. So the 8th lord should be either forming the Viprit Raj Yoga, but the 8th lord is not considered well placed in the 12th house, because this will shorten the longevity of marriage. So many things are to be checked like this, and as I told you, there should not be any planet present in the 8th house. All the benefics will do good in the 8th house, but the karka properties of these benefics will be destroyed. So which means if Venus is present in the 8th house, it will definitely give a long married life, but with lot of suffering, because Venus is a karka for relationship building. So the marital happiness to which Venus signifies will definitely be under trouble, and the person, despite having a very good marriage partner, will never be able to stay happy with this kind of Venus in the 8th house. So this should also be given a lot of importance. And Saturn in the 8th house is not good. It will cause a lot of suffering in the married life, and the person will go on dragging this kind of suffered married life, and ultimately which can lead to divorce sooner or later. So friends, now we'll come to the 12th house. If the 12th house is possessed by malefics, then these people will have problems in having the bed pleasures of the marriage, and they can go astray and they can form relationships outside, because the 12th house is also a very important component of marriage. As I told you, there are 5 important houses. So if this house is under affliction, or if this house lord has gone to the Trig Bhavas, then Trig Bhavas means if it is in the 6th house or in the 12th house, in that case the person will never be able to enjoy the 12th house prospects, and which can lead to problems in the marriage sooner or later. The malefics like Mars, Saturn, Rahu and Sun and Ketu can be very destructive for the bed pleasures of the 12th house. So these people can go wrong in their marriages. So now coming to the other very important component of marriage, that is the compatibility of minds. See, you have to see the health of the moon also, because moon is nothing but your mind. So how is the moon present, what is the aspects moon is getting, and what is the conjunction moon is having, that will tell you about the mental health of the person to whom you are wanting to get married. See, if the moon is free of any kind of conjunction with Rahu or Ketu, or with Sun, or with Mercury, then it should be considered as a good moon. See, I'll tell you one by one about the conjunctions of this moon. If this moon is with your Rahu, it gives lots of homicidal tendencies, and the person is very, very suspicious. So the person is very obsessed also with his spouse, and this can give lot of serious problems in the marriage. So despite having other good combinations, if the moon is under affliction, you should just avoid that match. If the same moon is with the planet Ketu, the person will be having lots of inferiority complex. And if the same moon is with the planet Mars, this person will be very, very aggressive in his temperament. And if this moon is with planet Saturn, this person is going to be very depressive, very morbid in his thinking, and because of his depressive ideas, the mental health of the partner will also get destroyed. And now if this moon is with the planet Venus, the person will have lot of interest in forming relationships, and this will create problems in maintaining the happiness of the marriage. So moon with Venus is also not really desired. Now, if this moon is with the planet Mercury, in that case, it is also not looked up well, because Mercury is a planet which is which is indicative of intelligence, and moon is indicative of mind. When these two planets are present together, and there is sun also close to the degrees of Mercury, this will spoil the happiness of marriage, because these kind of people are great planners. They are very shrewd, and because of this their shrewd behavior, they can cause problems in the marriage, in maintaining the good health of the marriage. So avoid such people. They are very schemy, they are very good planners, and if this combination is there, you should just avoid. If your planet moon is with planet sun, it means the person is born on the dark moon, and these people are very depressed, and they are unable to stay in a very happy state of mind, and because of this it will cause problems. The only planet with which moon is considered good is the planet Jupiter, and with Jupiter the person is very broad minded in his approach, and the person will be very understanding towards his marriage partner, and the person himself is very good in temperament, and this is considered as a very good combination for the mental health of a person. So other than the planet moon, you should also look for the other combinations, like if planet Saturn is present in your 12th house or in your lagna, and if it is aspected by Mars or uh, or any other malefic planet, in that case the mental health of the person is not satisfactory. Other than that, if there is planet Jupiter in the lagna and Mars is aspecting this Jupiter, then also the person will have a very wayward kind of behavior. It's also not looked up well at. Now, if the planet Saturn is in the lagna and planet Mars or any other malefic is in the trinal houses, that is the 5th house or the 9th house, in that case also the mental health of the person is not very sound. And of course, as I told you, sun and moon together is not considered good. So these are certain combinations which you should keep in mind to see the mental health of the person. So now coming to the happiness part of the marriage, which we have to see with the help of planet Venus. See, planet Venus is a karka for the marital happiness, and it controls the relationship part of the marriage. The happiness that a person is able to get through his partner is seen by the planet Venus. If you have all the good combinations in your chart and in the partner's chart, but if the planet Venus is not good in one chart, in that case you should either perform a remedy before marriage, or you should just avoid that match, because Venus, if it is ill placed, like if it is in the 6th house or in the 8th house, or if it is under some kind of affliction, or if it is debilitated, in that case it will cause lot of problems in staying happy in that relationship, and the person will go out for forming other relations. So this is how you should look up at the planet Venus. Other than that, you should always pay attention to the nakshatras of moon. So I will take up this topic in a separate video, but I'll tell you a little bit about the nakshatra part, which you should be very careful of. The moon should not be in the Jyeshtha nakshatra, which means if somebody is the eldest in the family, which means Jyeshtha means the eldest, and the moon is also in the Jyeshtha nakshatra, and the person is matching his chart with someone who is also in the Jyeshtha nakshatra, or if the person is born between May and June. So there is triple Jyeshtha effect, and if Jyeshtha effect is too much in the horoscopes, in that case just avoid that match, because it will not lead to stability of marriage. Other than this, you should also pay attention to the Gandmul nakshatra. if somebody is born in the Mool Nakshatra, that is in the nakshatras of Ketu or in the nakshatras of Mercury, in that case also either the parental side of that native would be undergoing some kind of suffering, or the parental or the family side of the spouse will suffer if the person is having the Mool Nakshatra. Unless the person has performed some remedies, some prayers for this nakshatra, you should simply avoid that match. So friends, there are many other points also which you can look up at. Currently I can remember only these points, and I'll come up with more interesting topics related to the marriage part in my forthcoming videos. So this was all. I would request you to keep in mind all these points before you find the right partner for yourself. So see you next time in my next video. Until then, bye friends.